Every 100 years, the hunt begins anew. Two vicious, warring alien races come to Earth to face off in a contest of strength and honor. The serpentine, hive minded aliens and the honor bound, silent hunters, the predators. Caught in the middle of this centuries old war is a team of Arctic explorers who think they've discovered a missing link in mankind's cultural evolution. But really, they've been lured there to be hosts for the hunt in 2004's underrated and long awaited crossover Alien versus Predator. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre,
I'm Julie Cervantes.
and this is Filmgazm. Happy Wednesday, listeners, and welcome to episode 121 of the Filmgazm podcast. I'm joined today by the new official co-host of the Filmgazm podcast, Julie Cervantes, who has chosen this film for today's episode. Thank you for being here today.
Hello, guys. I'm glad to be back again with my first ever Alien movie to talk about.
That's right. This is a franchise favorite. So this is going to be a really cool discussion. We've done the first two Alien movies on the podcast already, which means we really only have the shit left to talk about, regrettably. But we'll make good discussions out of all that. Very excited to dig into both franchises and talk about why this film specifically is so hated by the entire fan base. But first, it's time for the rewind. I've got one update, and it's on episode 90 from Dusk Till Dawn. Franchise creator Robert Rodriguez has announced that an animated series based on the film is in the works. After a 3-season live-action TV remake, Rodriguez is looking to expand that universe on his El Rey network. Rodriguez says it will not be a remake of the film, but will further explore the world of Aztec vampires. So, I'm assuming you've not seen From Dusk Till Dawn.
No, I haven't.
That's fair enough. It's a pretty cool movie. One of the most sexist movies I've ever seen in my life, but it's wildly entertaining up to that point and after that point. It's a movie that becomes a horror movie in the last 20 minutes. It's these two brothers are bank robbers and assholes and criminals, and they hijack this family in their RV with plans on crossing into Mexico and escaping from the law. They go to Mexico. They're going to lay low in a strip club. And in this strip club, they're attacked by vampires out of fucking nowhere. It's a vampire movie now, and it's crazy. And it's a wonderful film. Episode 90 was really fun. That was me, Austin, and Josh just digging into that movie. So an animated series, I don't know if we need that. Rodriguez has kind of been milking this cash cow for a long time. He did a TV show remake of it that wasn't that good, and now he's doing a cartoon. I don't know. I don't see it working out. Rodriguez is always working, like he's always building on past projects, but never with any substance. I mean,
has he ever done cartoons before?
Not yet, which is surprising considering he's done Spy Kids and Shark Boy and Lava Girl. So no cartoons yet. Actually, no, there was a Spy Kids cartoon, wasn't there, on Netflix?
No, I mean, maybe I've never seen it. I just remember there being like Spy Kids 4 on Netflix. I really liked those movies a lot, but I don't remember there being a cartoon.
I think there was like released last year. I'm going to look that up real fast because it's going to bother me. But I love Robert Rodriguez. I think he's a very talented filmmaker. I've really enjoyed a lot of his films, but I like him when he's in his gritty, vicious side. He does great action movies, great horror movies, but he keeps going back to kids movies, and I don't understand why. He does really bad kids movies. Yeah, Spy Kids Mission Critical. I knew it. 2018. There was a Spy Kids animated show on Netflix.
Why haven't I heard of this? Because Spy Kids was my childhood.
Mine too. The first two Spy Kids, I still love those.
I even liked the third one, which was but like yeah, I liked all three. And they were a big part of, like, I would watch that all the time with my little brother. That's kind of how we bonded sometimes.
Nice. That's nice. I remember seeing part 3 at the movies back when 3D was still really shitty and they didn't quite know what they were doing. And they gave you those red and blue glasses that were like paper and super small. And you couldn't see it. Like you couldn't tell what the fuck was going on because you were trying to adjust. I'm glad they worked out 3D eventually.
I remember thinking that the coolest part of that movie was like the race scene with the cars. I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
I remember thinking it was just hilarious when like the guy showed up, like the super guy who had all the lives, and then he got like smacked and just lost all of his lives. And everyone was like, "Oh shit, what do we do now?" I always thought that was funny as hell.
Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah. So Rodriguez, animated from Dusk Till Dawn series. Hope it works out. I don't know. After We Can Be Heroes, I don't know if I'll check this out. So, Julie, what made you choose Alien versus Predator?
So like Alien versus Predator is what got me into being a true fan of Alien, the Alien series. I saw it when I was around 8 or so, and I remember being so shocked when I saw that. I was shocked, but also really interested. So I was like, this is new. This is like something I would normally not be allowed to watch because of my strict parents. So whenever I saw something like this for the first time, I was like, yes, I'm excited to see something I'm not allowed to watch. And my older brother introduced me to this movie, and I really enjoyed the animation and like being so intrigued by the alien. And like I ended up finding out that these were two separate worlds, and that they had their own movies. So as I got older and older, I wanted to know more about the aliens. Like something gravitated me towards that side. I think just because, um, well, I like space a lot, and I really like how much the Alien series puts you into a new planet sort of thing, like sort of feeling like it introduces you to like being in space, being a part of a crew, being in a ship with crew members and like trying to survive in space. And that was so cool to me. And then just for Predator, I just never gotten around to watching it when I was a teenager. Um, so I guess I wanted to do this movie just because I really enjoyed it, and also just it started like a whole new interest that I never thought I would be interested in, which is sci-fi. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, this is definitely a gateway movie. I can see that happening. It's not quite as freakish as the rest of the Alien movies, but also not quite as gory as the Predator movies. So this is kind of neutral ground, I think. And that reminds me of a way I saw somebody once describe the Alien franchise movie by movie. And I'm going to see if I can remember the whole thing because it's funny as hell. Alien was Alien versus scientists. Alien versus miners was the first one. Aliens was Alien versus soldiers. Alien 3 was Alien versus prisoners. Alien Resurrection was aliens versus pirates. Alien versus Predator was aliens versus explorers. Aliens versus Predator Requiem was aliens versus teenagers. Prometheus was aliens versus idiots. And Covenant was aliens versus families.
Wow. That's who came up with that?
I don't know. I saw that somewhere and thought that's perfect. Ah, Alien versus Predator. I saw this for the first time at the movies when I was 9. My mom and dad took me because they wanted to see it, which meant I had to see it. And I had never seen Alien or Predator. I don't know what the hell was going on, but I was like, this is cool. I like this. And I remember telling my mom, like after I saw that, I was like, I want to be Predator for Halloween. And she said, no, it's too complicated. I'm like, okay. And yeah, from there I found Predator and fell in love with that. It was a few years later when I finally watched Alien, because I was at that stage in my life where I thought horror movies were like gonna irreparably damage my psyche and just scare me into a coma. So I had to gradually get there to the point where I fell in love with horror and just adored it, and that's where I'm at now. Thank God. But there was a time when I wouldn't touch Alien because I was like, no, it's a scary movie. No. I think Predator was an action movie, so I'm like, I'll watch that one. But Alien, mm-mm. And then I watched it with my dad, and I'm like, this isn't that scary. In fact, it's kind of boring. And then later on in my life, I watched it again, and I'm like, this is groundbreaking. This is amazing. And here we are.
Yeah, I think I was always afraid to watch the movies after I saw AVP because I knew that they were rated R. So it took me a while to actually sit down and watch them because I knew that, oh, if I go into this, it's gonna because I've never seen like horror movies at that age, or like I never grew up with them, blah blah blah. So like I knew if I were to watch one of these rated R movies, whether it's Alien or Predator, it would probably freak me out. So I waited till I was like older, like an older teenager, and then I finally watched Alien. I was like, okay, this isn't as bad as I thought, until like the scene where the android gets like burst open and it's like milk, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I freaked out because I didn't know that it was a robot. I thought it was a human with like milky blood, and I was like, whoa, this is graphic, but it was really just a robot.
Funny. I don't consider Alien versus Predator to be a horror movie.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, this is an action sci-fi.
Yeah.
It's got horror elements, but the studio really tried their hardest to take those away.
Yeah. Which is like, I don't, do you feel like, so do you think that Alien, because a lot of people say that Alien isn't a horror movie either. Like they say it's like a thriller movie. So what do you think of that?
Thriller does not exist. Thriller is a subcategory people use when they want to say that they liked a horror movie, but they don't want to admit that they liked a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
I watch every Halloween. I watch this countdown. It's the Bravo's 100 scariest movie moments from 2004. Countdowns 100 to 1 of the scariest moments in movie history. Alien is number 2. That movie is a horror movie. It's got one of the most shocking moments in film history. I mean, in 1979, when that thing burst out of John Hurt, nobody had ever seen anything like that. That was nightmarish on a level nobody could comprehend. And if you've never seen Alien, if you know nothing about it and you watch that for the first time, it's still incredibly jarring. Yeah. So I would argue that the Alien franchise is not just horror, it's one of the most important in horror history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like before I watched Alien for the first time, I heard a lot of rumors about the movie. I was like, I would sometimes, if I'm too afraid to watch a movie, I'll look up online, is this movie scary? And there'll be lots of people saying yes, or lots of people saying there's this one scene. So I ended up finding out there's this one scene in Alien, where something pops out of someone. I was like, oh wow. And then so I didn't get that shock factor, but I felt like it was necessary for me as a non like horror watcher to know. But like I can totally imagine not ever seeing something like that in the 70s and being like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who made the movie Hostel, Eli Roth, said Alien made him throw up.
Shit.
That's awesome.
That would make me, that would for sure make me throw up if I was, Poor dude.
I've never had a horror movie get me that bad where I literally vomited. That's never happened to me.
I've had moments like that just because of how I grew up. Where like it feels like this most horrible feeling inside of your stomach. It's like, you're not used to that. When you're not used to that, it can do things to your body.
I mean, I've been scared. I've been like, uneased to the point of like I don't feel well, but I've never just it's never happened. Not yet, but I mean, it's early yet. I've only seen about 408 horror movies, so there's still a lot out there that might get me.
Yeah. I think it's just like the fact that you don't know, oh, these are just effects, or you don't think about that. You're just thinking about how the movie is scary. You're not thinking of, oh, those are just effects, or oh, that's like a guy in a costume, or oh, that's not their real body, stuff like that.
Well, I approach horror the same way I approach every genre of film. The main thing I look for is this a good movie? Is this entertaining? And there have been movies I thought, like horror movies that I thought were not scary in the slightest, but were really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, I not a lot of people do that. A lot of people will shut themselves down when it comes to horror and just be like, I'm not touching that. And I get it to an extent, but I do think that those people are missing out on quite a lot. I mean, I credit 3 movies with really getting me started on a horror journey, and that's The Thing, Blade, and Jaws. Watching those 3 films at a young age put me on a journey that's still going. So, great movies.
Nice.
Back to Alien versus Predator. The whole idea of pitting the aliens and the predators against each other started in 1989 with the comic book Alien versus Predator, developed by Dark Horse Comics. Its popularity began to fuel the fire of a crossover film, which would have been fairly easy since the Alien and Predator franchises were both owned by 20th Century Fox. So crossovers in comics kind of led to, and of course the Alien Skull cameo in Predator 2 led to this idea that is somebody going to make an Alien versus Predator movie? And I didn't know about comic crossovers till I saw at a bookstore Batman versus Alien. And I thought, what? Just, I begged my mom to get me that, but it was like $40 and she said no. But one day I'm going to find that because I would love to read that.
Did
so,
you grow up? Oh, sorry.
Oh, go
Did
ahead.
you grow up reading comics?
Oh yeah, big time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had friends that grew up with, like, I would go to a friend's house and they had this room full of comic books and I would scroll through them and be like, dang, you're cool.
I've always been just a total geek. I've comic books, movies, games. I love just nerdy shit, pop culture that just makes me happy. Always immersing myself in that stuff. Comic books not so much like in the past 5-6 years, but movies have been pretty much my total focus. So Fox owned both franchises. They started to put this idea together in the mid-90s, but it was delayed because Fox was working on Alien Resurrection, which was so poorly received that the Alien franchise was stopped dead in its tracks, much like the Predator franchise had been in 1990 with Predator 2. So everything was kind of dead. And they were trying to come up with this idea of putting these 2 franchises together, hoping it would reignite interest in both and they'd be able to branch off again. They were going to bring back Dutch from Predator. They were going to bring back Ripley from Alien and have this big crossover battle. But Sigourney Weaver and Arnold just didn't want to do this. They both thought it was a terrible idea. And who can blame them considering the outcome? So ultimately, it was director Paul W.S. Anderson who came up with the plot of predators returning to Earth every 100 years for rite of passage rituals in which they hunt aliens. And it was an idea that the studios finally appreciated and thought, let's throw some money at that. And this film was greenlit immediately and only filmed in like 6 months, which is insane. Anderson, not the best director. He's got his fan base, but his track record, I wouldn't say is great. He's known for directing 4 of the Resident Evil films, but he wrote all 6 of them. He's also directed Mortal Kombat, Event Horizon, Death Race, The Three Musketeers, Pompeii, and most recently Monster Hunter. All of those movies are negative tomato scores and on and off bombs. So he's a shit filmmaker. I'll say it.
I mean, I guess like he's doing what he likes. I mean, do you think there's a bunch of fans with him? Because I mean, all those movies seem like they're very similar in how poor they are.
Well, The Resident Evil franchise alone has 6 movies, so those were fairly successful. So there are people who love those. I don't care for them. I never played Resident Evil, so I don't have an attachment to that. But he clearly does. He married Resident Evil star Mila Jovovich in 2009, and they have 3 kids. So that's something that came out of this guy's career. As bad as he is nowhere near as bad as the guys who did Requiem. So,
oh yeah, yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the cast. Sana Lathan was cast as Danger Guide Lex Woods. Lathan has appeared in such films as Love and Basketball, Contagion, Now You See Me Too, and Blade. And that's how I kind of knew her. As she played Blade's mom in a very weird, almost incestual scene that thankfully ended before it could get out of control. Blade is so all right. Blade was created when his mother was bitten by a vampire when she was pregnant. So she gave birth to Blade, who was half human, half vampire, and he grew up hating vampires and kills everyone he can find. He finds his mother, who's the same age she was when she died, because she's a vampire now. And she kind of comes onto him, and it's weird. But he kills her. He's like, nope, and just gets her. So yeah, that's how I knew Sana Lathan.
You said she was in Now You See Me Too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of the others of those other movies. I haven't seen Blade. Like she was like the first strong female character I ever experienced, so that was pretty cool for me on my end. But yeah, after that I never really saw her in anything else.
Right on. Yeah, that's great. I love that you were able to identify with a strong female character. And that's kind of been like the staple of the Alien franchises, strong female characters. I mean, Ripley is one of the most iconic sci-fi characters of all time, and her whole job description is kick alien ass for 4 movies. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you had that. I don't think she's the best actress. I am surprised she hasn't been in more like recognizable stuff. I think she's drifted over to TV.
Yeah, like she's decent. I didn't notice like when I was watching it. I feel like she did a pretty good job. Like she did a good job portraying her character and as like this, I'm in charge. What the hell are you doing? You're an idiot, sort of.
My biggest issue with AVP really is the characters. I feel like everyone's kind of half finished. Like nobody really has a lot of pep. Everyone's just kind of like, oh, she's a guide. Oh, he's an archaeologist. Oh, he's a scientist. Like they're like cookie cutters. Like nobody has any personality.
Yeah, I do like Wayland though. He was pretty like he grew on me. Like in the beginning, I was like, oh, he's just this greedy dude who just wants to find this place. But no, I liked their relationship a lot when they talked a lot.
And he goes out like a boss, like lighting a predator on fire. Like, don't you turn your back on me. That's a great moment for him.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's talk about him. Longtime character actor Lance Henriksen was cast as millionaire industrialist Charles Bishop Wayland, founder of the Wayland Corporation, which in the Alien franchise would evolve into the infamous Weyland-Yutani Corp, building better worlds since 1979. Henriksen, of course, played the good-natured android Bishop in 1986's Aliens and briefly in 1992's Alien 3. Getting him on board was a big win for production and helped Alien fans feel they were in good hands. Sadly, most of them still hated the movie, but it is so cool that Lance Henriksen did this. That he played the man who would later influence Bishop. I mean, that's just fucking awesome.
Yeah, I really loved Bishop in Aliens. He was my favorite android out of all of them, to be honest.
Well, pickings are slim. I mean, you've got Crazy Ash, you've got Boring Call, you've got Psychotic David, and you've got Passive Walter. So I don't know. Bishop wins, clearly. Lance Henriksen is a fucking boss. We've talked about him, I think, more times than any other actor on this podcast. He keeps coming back. Aliens and Near Dark, and he's a boss. I love Lance Henriksen.
Wait a minute. He's in Terminator? Oh, he's in Terminator, like when he's like at the police station?
Yeah, he's the cop who's like investigating the case.
Yeah, I'm looking at his movies right now.
Lance Henriksen, actually, I have this in my Filmgazm facts later, but I'll just bring it up now. Lance Henriksen is one of 2 actors to have been killed by an alien, a predator, and a Terminator.
Damn, dude.
That's pretty badass.
That is, yeah.
I didn't know that until like recently. Like I never put that together because I always heard Bill Paxton is the only guy to have been killed by all 3 of those creatures. But nope, Lance did it too. Moving on, Raul Bova plays archaeologist Sebastian De Rosa. He's worked mostly in Italian films. Some of his American films include Under the Tuscan Sun, The Tourist, and he appeared in the Italian series Medici the Magnificent, which is on Netflix. And he's cool, but again, no personality. He's just the archaeologist. Like they hoped, Italian is not a personality trait. It's unfortunately.
And like, did he even explain the like meaning behind his bottle cap thing? Like, or was he just like, oh, I just like it?
See, there's pieces there of a cool story, a cool backstory that you could use to make this guy likable, so you care when he gets captured by aliens. That's the whole point of well-written characters, especially in a horror movie. You need to like them. You need to care about them. So when they die, you feel something.
Yeah.
And this movie just didn't have it. I mean, compared to like, say, the crew in Alien, you knew all their names. You knew who they were, what they were about, their personalities. So you really felt it when this thing started hunting them down. Yeah. And Aliens was the same way. The Marines, like you got it. I don't know. I just, I look for that stuff.
Yeah. I think like, yeah, when the bottle cap like fell to the ground when he died, I didn't really care. Like, he was nice. Like he was a nice character, but that's it.
He was also like, for being an archaeologist who was running out of money and didn't really have anything to show for it, he seemed to have figured everything out incredibly fast in the pyramid. He was like, this is clearly a combination lock. Oh, it's clearly based on the metric system. These clearly are hunters from outer space here to fight alien serpents. Like he just pulls out all of that out of nowhere. Scottish character actor Ewan Bremner plays Graham Miller, chemical expert. Miller has appeared in such films as Trainspotting, Wonder Woman, The Rundown, Black Hawk Down, Snatch, and First Cow, just to name a few. That guy has been in a lot of big movies. He's a big character actor. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. And he's one of the few guys here who is fairly likable, and you kind of do care when he gets killed. Mainly because, he's here. He's excited to be here. He's part of a big expedition. He's showing his kids to everybody.
Yeah, that's how, like, they're like, let's show his kids so that we care about him. And you did. Like, he's so bubbly and just like, I'm so excited, in his accent.
It's, yeah, he dies a pretty vicious death, The aliens, God, they really do kill people in gruesome fashion, just no matter what.
Dude, it freaked me out when he was with that guy in that little triangular tunnel thing. I was like, oh shit, that's creepy.
Ugh. British character actor Colin Salmon plays Maxwell Stafford, Wayland's right-hand man. Salmon has appeared in nearly 120 credits. Some of his standouts include Resident Evil, Punisher Warzone, The World Is Not Enough, Die Another Day, and the CW series Arrow as Queen Consolidated President Walter Steele. And he's a British dude who pops up all the time, and he got just such a crazy death in this movie, the razor net. I mean, that's badass. I think that popped up in Predator 2. Just this net that can't be cut and just just pressures you until it cuts you into cubes.
I know that is like the most brutal thing.
That's
I watched Predator today, guys, for the first time. I didn't see that net in the first movie, but now that you're telling me it's in the second, now I know where it comes from.
Predator 2 is incredibly underrated, but we'll get to that towards the end of the show. That covers pretty much the major players, as most of the cast gets face hugged pretty quickly. There's a lot of cannon fodder in this movie. You really only get to connect to like 4 people. Everyone else just kind of gets killed off unceremoniously because they need bodies. Yeah. I mean, there's the lady with the gun, the Scottish guy with the scars, the guy named Connors, which I obviously latched onto. And that's really kind of it. I mean, everyone else, like everyone kind of dies in this movie, but you don't see most of it. A lot of it's just implied.
Yeah, which I don't like.
I like a nice solid body count in my Alien movie and my Predator movie. I want to see some gore.
Yeah. I mean, in the first movie, I didn't like in Alien, I did not like how they didn't show the bodies being, just taken off screen. They did the same thing in this one. I was like, oh. I mean, 8-year-old me appreciates that because I didn't want to see that when I was a kid. I'm sure you didn't mind. But yeah, I don't like that they do that. I wish they would shock me, surprise me.
Well, I get why they did it in Alien, because in Alien, I mean, this was the first time we'd seen this creature. We didn't know what he was about, what his MO was, what he did to people. So just dragging people away left it up to your imagination of like, what is he doing to these people?
Yeah.
But when Aliens and Alien 3 and Resurrection come around, like, you get it. You know what these things are. You know what they do. I want to see some people getting ripped apart. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I mean, Alien Resurrection, you have one of the grisliest scenes ever when the thing pops out through that guy's head. You remember that?
In Resurrection?
Yeah, like one of the guys, I think like the doctor has a alien inside of him. It's about to come out, and he grabs one of the pirate guys and like holds his head up to his chest, and the thing pops through the guy's stomach and then through the other guy's forehead.
Damn. Yeah, I don't remember that, but I remember. Now I want to rewatch it.
Oh, that was fucking crazy. I mean, I did not see that coming. I mean, that movie at that point, I was like checked out. I was like, this is terrible. And then that happened, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, the most memorable thing for me for that movie is Ripley's clones. That is the most memorable thing for me.
That basketball scene where she just like overshoots it with one hand. No CGI there. Sigourney did that shit.
Oh my God, really?
Took her, I think, 7 takes, and Ron Perlman almost fucked it up because he almost went, whoa. So they had to cut away real fast. Yeah, that movie's, I think it's held up better than Alien 3, for sure. Alien 3 is dull, boring, and kind of pointless.
Yes.
Resurrection at least has fun with it.
Yeah, I would choose Resurrection over 3 any day.
Yeah, for sure. Alien versus Predator has an IMDb score of 5.6, a Rotten Tomatoes score of 21%. Yeah, that hurts. I think that makes it one of the lowest scored movies we've ever done on this podcast.
Okay, hearing that, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, but I will say this is nowhere near the worst movie we've ever done on the podcast. So it is a decent, enjoyable flick.
Yeah.
Thank God. It was still a huge hit, grossing 177 million on a budget of 60 million. So still huge hit because people were like, what? I got to see this. This was 2004. Crossover movies did not happen all the time.
Yeah. I mean, like, even if I knew it was going to be bad, I would still go see it. Like, knowing that there was a crossover.
The thing
So
about being a horror fan is I've grown extremely distrustful of Rotten Tomatoes. I don't
mm,
trust their scores at all anymore. I mean, sometimes they'll be, kind of accurate just so you can kind of judge, should I watch this? But I've seen, 20, 19, 10 percenters that I thought were fucking awesome. So it all comes down to subjectivity. Not a lot of critics give horror the time of day. So a lot of them will just say that's fucking stupid because I don't like horror movies. So,
yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think the more movies change, the more our mindsets change, the more society changes, and things aren't always going to be what you think they are. Like, if you think it's a bad movie, a lot of people aren't going to see it that way because everyone's changing. So, like, how do you score movies now? I
yeah.
mean, there's pretty obvious. There are things that make a movie good or bad, like story, characters, and that's a good distinction. But there's some that, like, uh, Parasite. Some people would be like, this is over the top, or like, oh, some people would be like, this is a masterpiece, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Well, with horror, you get that all the time. I mean, look at the Saw franchise, for example. All 8 of those films are Rotten Tomatoes. All of them are negatively reviewed by critics. I love all 8 of those films. They are entertaining as hell. The story is so engaging, and it has some of the most grisly, over the top deaths in a horror movie I've ever seen. And I look for that kind of thing in horror. I'm here to be entertained in a very dark way. And I thought Saw did that, but I think, to just call it, garbage or gross or a waste of time is insincere and frankly immature. It's a film, it's a piece of art, and I think it should be judged accordingly.
Yeah, like, same thing goes for art, books. It's very hard to judge art and like books and everything,
Yeah.
because you you aren't the creator. You don't know what they were trying to do. You don't know what their vision was. So how can you say this isn't good or this isn't?
Yeah. But to an extent, it is. I've brought this up a couple times, but it is all subjective. What I like, you might not like. What you like, they might not like. It's all about individual taste for the most part.
Yeah.
I do like to give horror a little bit more attention. That's why I started this podcast, because I like horror movies and I want to talk about them. I want to talk about them with the same kind of zeal that people talk about classics like The Godfather.
Yeah.
And I mean, this week I am doing Alien versus Predator, and then on Sunday I'm doing 2016 Best Picture winner Moonlight. So it's cool to have both. You can have both. Nobody says you can't. You can have your cake and slaughter it too.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. So AVP scored one horribly received sequel, and helped put both franchises on ice until 2010's Predators and 2012's Prometheus. Still, I'd say it has a decent cult following at this point. I think people have kind of re-embraced this film. Not a lot of people, but some people, and it's seen as fairly entertaining.
Yeah. So, like, were a lot of people very angered, and then they grew on them, or was it more just like oh, this is what I'm getting, I guess I'll like it, sort of thing?
I think so. I think, people went into this alien, the people who were going to see this are Alien fans and Predator fans. And they expected a hardcore R-rated slaughterfest. Instead, they got a tame PG-13 action movie.
I will say, though, I freaking love the animation on the alien. Like, if they didn't get that, at least they got the cool effects, and at least they were like, shit, that alien looks so cool. But yeah,
Visual effects. I
yeah,
agree with you. The visual effects, I think, because it's a mix of CGI and practical effects, which is for me always kind of the best deal, it looks great. It really does look great. This is a finely polished movie. I read that the Alien Queen animatronic was like the biggest one they'd made yet. It was like bigger than the T-Rex from Jurassic Park.
wow.
They went all out on that. So that's cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that, I think it's wrong to make a PG-13 spin-off from two R-rated franchises. It
Oh
just feels
yeah,
like
for
you're
sure.
alienating everyone who cares about this.
For sure. However, I mean, I I will say, like, if I never saw this movie, I probably would have never gotten into Alien. And, you know, but yeah, I can, yeah, you definitely would go into this thinking it should be rated R. And like, then there's those kids that like want to be introduced to stuff like this, but couldn't because it was rated R, blah blah blah. So I guess it's just how you see it.
Yeah,
I'm personally grateful that it was PG-13, but at the same time, they do deserve their R movie.
true. And I am glad that, some people like yourself were able to use this as a gateway. But when it comes to horror, when it comes to R-rated movies as a kid, you're supposed to sneak them. You're supposed to watch them secretly and privately at slumber parties and shit. Like that's how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Like I watched Freddy versus Jason when I was 8 at a slumber party because the kid who I didn't really like, I don't know why the hell I was there. I wasn't friends with the kid. He put it on and I was like, this is awesome. There's boobs everywhere and people are getting ripped apart. I've never seen anything like this. And they turned it off because they wanted to play Grand Theft Auto or something. And I was like, no, put it back on. I can't watch this at home. So yeah, I understand your point, but I do think that like, sneaking an R-rated movie is a rite of passage. Ah, so AVP, let's talk about this thing. Let's talk about the movie highlights. I thought it was really smart to include the Wayland Corporation. I thought connecting that kind of thing, little bit like that fans are going to appreciate is cool. I wish that there'd been more of that.
Yeah. I think they did well in trying to tie things. Like you can tell that they tried. They like tied the corporation into the modern day world, and they did it in a pretty smart way. Like they said that the the aliens were summoned every 100 years or something, so that's why now we're getting it in the present time. You know, at first, like looking back on this, I was thinking, wait, why are they coming back now? And then I watched it again. I was like, oh, it's because it's every 100 years. And like, so I mean, yeah, I think it works, kind of. I think it works.
You know what's interesting? Fans have tried to erase the first, like fans and the studio really have erased AVP 1 and 2 from the canon. But I think this fits pretty snugly between Predator and Alien because the Wayland Corporation would have known about these creatures that killed Charles Wayland. So they would have been researching these, aliens for centuries. And finally, when they had space travel capabilities, would have been searching for the organism. That's why in Alien, the Wayland Yutani Corp's orders are bring it back alive.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't think of that.
Because they've been looking for this thing for hundreds of years.
That fills a hole for me because like in the first movie you're like, how did they know that they needed to bring this dude back to Earth?
Yep.
So yeah, that's cool.
Because it killed the CEO in 2004 and they needed to find out why and how.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Neat. It was badass to see the Queen again. Love the alien Queen. My favorite part about Aliens is the Queen. Oh, get away from her, you bitch. It's an awesome scene.
I rewatched this today and I was like, wait, does she not need to eat anything? Because she's stuck in that little trap for 100 years. And so like it really tells you, wait, she's super strong. So
well, we learn in Covenant that these things are created by David to be the perfect organism, these indestructible creatures that can survive space and ocean and frozen. Like these things are engines of war.
Yeah.
So definitely. That's awesome. Yeah. Which means that alien Queen is like thousands of years old. I mean, that's probably the one they've been using since the beginning. But shit, I just figured out the whole. How can these things exist on Earth in 2004 if David created them in like 2238?
I was, as you were saying that, I was like, wait, they didn't become the perfect organism until later.
Damn it. Almost had it there, but Ridley had to go and make his prequels. So you watched the original Predator today, so you got a little bit of background on that. You saw what the thing looks like, kind of sleek, tall, athletic build. Did you think the Predators in this movie were a little chunky?
Chunky.
A little beefy?
I feel like the one in the first movie was more intimidating.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Especially the fact that the one in the first movie didn't have a lion roar as its sound. Because in this movie it sounds like a lion, like a recording of a lion being made into the Predator's roar. I just laugh every time I hear the way they roar because I just think of a lion. But yeah, I like the first Predator more than these ones. These ones are definitely weaker.
Yeah.
The first one is way more evil and like I'm like a badass. Like you can't kill me, sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, he did get fucked up by a tree, but I get your point. Yeah, I agree. The first Predator is way more intimidating, but that's kind of the point because these guys are supposed to be juveniles who are learning to be predators. Like this is their rite of passage. Kill an alien and you're a predator.
I do like how they're more ninja-like in this one. I really like that.
The shuriken throwing star thing, that was pretty badass.
Yeah.
In Predator 2, there's a funny scene. Well, it's not supposed to be funny, but I thought it was funny. That takes place in downtown Los Angeles. So he's in the urban jungle now. And he gets wounded and he breaks into somebody's apartment and like breaks into their medicine cabinet and like mixes it up with his like goo to make like predator medicine. And but I'm just thinking like, he just broke into somebody's apartment in LA. Like, what if the cops show up? Like, what if he calls somebody? Like, there's a 8-foot tall thing in my bathroom. Like, it just made me laugh.
That was in the second Predator?
Yeah. Predator 2 is pretty goofy at times. Like, there's this gang leader who's like super over the top. I'm gonna look up his name because I remember it was ridiculous. But he's like the leader of like the Jamaican gang, and he knows about the Predator. And he one second, I'm almost there to the name. King Willie. That's who it was. It was King Willie. And he's just like, you cannot stop the ultimate creature. Like, he's so crazy. And Predator just like ices him in a second. It's hilarious. Oh, I have a lot of love and hate for Predator 2.
It sounds like, is it also like an enjoyable but bad movie, but it's enjoyable?
Yes, it's very enjoyable. It's ridiculous. It's supposed to take place in the distant future of 1997. And where crime has overtaken Los Angeles and there's a gang war all the time because that's the distant future, of course. And the Predator shows up and he's like, I'm looking for some kicks. I'm going to hunt me some gangsters. And this cop's like, not on my watch, Mr. Alien. And they fight, and it's pretty weird.
Sounds like the Predators are pretty bored.
Well, it's true. Predator 3, though, takes it to the next level. And I'll talk about Predator 3 further into the show. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. So the idea of a pyramid connected to all the world cultures before we predates all known culture, like the original civilization. I think that's pretty cool. That's a cool idea.
Yeah, I love the pyramid thing and how it's like really intricate inside and how they made it for them to hunt. And that's such a cool idea to me. I like where they went with that. Like, I'm trying to think of what else they could have done to integrate the two aliens on Earth. Like it would have been like, I think they made a good choice of it being in Antarctica and everything, because if it was like in the Americas or something, that would have been a disaster.
You know what? I think I figured out a way to fix that David plot hole.
Oh yeah.
So the Predators. We don't know exactly how technologically advanced this species is.
Right.
We see hints of it throughout the movies. We see what they're capable of.
Yeah.
So who's to say they don't have access to time travel?
Yeah.
Maybe they hunt that way. Maybe they go back in time to like the Vikings and they hunt Vikings or shit like that. So who's to say they can't hop into the future to find the most dangerous creature in existence, bring it back to a time that's, relatively uninhabited, Arctic Earth, and put it there. So maybe the Predator went and got the alien.
Yeah, I believe that, because like they said in the movie, like they had this crazy technology to like dig into the grounds in under 24 hours. Like who's to say they don't have time travel? They're pretty smart dudes, minus the guys that got killed in this movie, but yeah.
I had this awesome idea for a Predator movie where it involved time travel and it involved like a Predator grand hunt where they grabbed, it kind of rips off Predator 3, but I don't care. They grab like a medieval knight and a Viking warrior and like a Vietnam era soldier and like random warriors from throughout Earth's time. And they put them on a planet to hunt them.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because they want to be the best of the best. So they get the best of the best.
Yeah. Now, granted, that is almost exactly the plot of Predator 3, just with time travel. But we'll get to that. So I think the buildup is pretty good. We found a pyramid. Let's go look at it. Here's my experts. Big hole in the ground. No one's going to question. And they go in there and they're in the sacrificial chamber. And I love how they kind of are figuring out something's wrong here when they look at the body and the bones are broken outward and all the Alien fans are like, eee! And yeah, the way it goes down where like the alien queen's awakened and it's like, it is time. And the eggs come out and they just like leap out of like that was well done. The buildup was really well done.
Yeah. I like how they, as soon as you enter the pyramid, the predators are supposed to step on something and then it activates it. So it turns into like a game, sort of like a maze, like they were saying. It's really cool.
This is the equivalent of, like a vision quest for these predators. This is, get your kill and come back a man. That's what this is.
Mm-hmm.
Why two of them get killed off incredibly fast.
Yeah. Do you think it's just because like they were confused because the humans were there and they were distracted by the humans, or like
That was part of it. The real reason is Paul W.S. Anderson is more of an Alien fan than he is a Predator fan.
Oh, okay.
He admitted that. He's like, yeah, I like Alien better, so I killed two Predators. Like, fuck you, man. No, but it's I don't think they knew what they were walking into. I think the humans are not supposed to take their guns and just walk around. And they were like, the fuck, this isn't like what happened last time. This is not the hunt my grandpa told me about. And they just, I think they were caught off guard. But it is cool to see like that first initial meeting when the alien like spears the Predator from behind and like pulls him up to his face and they're in the frame. I get chills every time. That's neat to see.
Yeah, the music, the framework of the camera is pretty cool. Like, and just the way the alien's like, "Hey, bitch, it's me."
If these things could talk, that's exactly what they would say, and that's exactly what they would sound like. Oh my god. But yeah, these things, I mean, two of these guys just get massacred. And what's the point of wearing that super helmet if freaking Little Mouth can just go right through it? I mean,
Oh yeah, what the hell?
what a waste.
I think it would have been cool if, they use, like you said before, I think before we started this, you said their helmet should be used as a guard against the aliens. So that's why they wear them in the first place. So I feel like it would have been cool if in the movie the alien like tried to go through the helmet, but it did something to the alien's tongue and it like, did something cool to it. And then maybe it killed the alien that way. To its helmet was a weapon, something cool.
That would have been badass. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. Yeah, the theory I had was that the reason the predators wear the helmets is so that face huggers can't get them. Because you get the feeling in this movie that a lot of their culture revolves around the aliens. That these two races have been at war for a very long time. So yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't be a thing. But yeah, they kind of waste it. It is cool to see a predator grab an alien by the foot and just swing his ass around like a folding chair in a wrestling match and chuck him into a pillar. That was sweet.
Yeah, like I think that was super cool, but they were very like sloppy the way they were fighting the aliens. Like you could tell that they weren't really as good as like, the ancient predators that were fighting off those other, because they were like getting swarmed and they had no problem with it. But then these guys get like one alien or two aliens and they can't handle it.
I love in that flashback scene the predator like swinging his spear and then just thousands of these things crawling up the pyramid.
I know.
You see the cannon blasts like here and there. Oh my god. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool imagery in this movie.
What a waste.
No, it's just I want to love this movie, but I can't.
It's like a love-hate relationship for me.
Yeah, it's a frenemy situation. It's like, I know I can depend on all of your brothers and sisters, but you keep fucking up. That's what it feels like to me.
I also want to say, oh my god, when the alien used its acid, it's like, to kill the predator, that was fucking cool.
One of my favorite moments is when the last predator standing is like hunting and the face hugger comes up from behind him and like jumps and he turns around and swings that freaking shuriken at it and just carves it right in half mid jump.
I know.
Fucking awesome. And then he like slices that other one's head in half and it just falls off. That's awesome. Of course, bites him in the ass when he goes to mark his helmet and the face hugger gets him.
Yeah.
Yep. How did it even get through that weird ass mouth? Like humans, I get. I mean, we've got just a hole here, but they've got like, brah. I don't know how it got in there.
I don't know. It's pretty long. Like
the size of these things kind of varies. I mean, it seemed like an alien. It seemed kind of about the size of a lobster. But then in Aliens, it was like 3 times bigger. I don't know. I think it depends on who's doing the creature effects, really.
Yeah.
Cool. It is cool, the whole idea of the mark of a warrior. I love that idea that he's done it. He's killed an alien, so he marks his head and his helmet with the blood of his enemy. Unfortunately, it's acid blood, and that's gotta suck.
Yeah. So like they didn't do that in the Predator movies? That was like a new thing?
Oh yeah, that never came up in the Predator movies.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That is cool. A cool idea.
Well, I get the feeling like, hunting aliens or xenomorphs, if you will. This is pride. Yeah, this is a thing of pride. This is a rite of passage. This is something every predator goes through. This is the mark of a true warrior.
Right.
Hunting humans is like duck hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time, they're not fighting back. This is not considered a dangerous hunt.
Yeah.
But sometimes you run into an Arnold or a Danny Glover, and you got to deal with it. There was this robot chicken sketch a while back of it was this predator's hunting Arnold, and he's about to kill, and then all of a sudden on the sidelines you see a bunch of hippie predators being like, "Save the humans! Hunting's bad! Don't do that, bro!" And like they capture Arnold and put him in like a predator zoo, and they're like protecting him, and he's like, "Let me out!" It's so funny.
Wait, that was on a TV show?
Robot Chicken, yeah, it was on Adult Swim. It was like they would use action figures to make like little sketches that were super nerdy and super stupid, but it was really funny.
Oh yeah, that the other thing I was sheltered with.
Oh yeah.
Adult Swim. Yeah, I never ever watched Adult Swim, but like whenever I know what it is. Like I know exactly like what would show on there, you know. Every now and then whenever my family and I would go to a hotel and I was in a separate room with my brother, we would put that on.
I watched one a couple days ago that was so dark, but it made me laugh. It was Batman's fighting the Joker, and he's beating the Joker like seriously bad, and then he's like, "No, one more punch would kill you, and I don't kill." And Joker's like, ugh, like he's barely there, and then like he gets like Joker's like, why bother? I'm just gonna get out again, and I'm gonna do it again. And Batman's like, hmm. And then it cuts to the trial, and Joker gets sentenced to death, and he's like, what? Like Joker's scared, like, I don't want to die. He's about to be executed, and he's like, no. And it's really weird to see Joker like crying for his life, and then they just light him up, and it made me laugh. It was really dark, but it made me laugh.
Wait, Adult Swim is still going on?
Oh yeah, Robot Chicken's been on for like 10 years now.
I thought it was one of those things like Boomerang that like just stopped like after a while.
Dude, Rick and Morty is on Adult Swim. Like that's like their biggest thing. Like Adult Swim's bigger than it's ever been.
Dang, I've been living under a rock. Under the Netflix and Hulu rock.
Oh boy. So we lose two of the three predators pretty early on. Predator gets the face hugger. I love that. So then Lex is the last human standing. Everyone dies pretty fast. Waylon gets a cool death. I love when the Predator like picks him up and sees like, oh, this guy's got cancer. I don't want him. This isn't worth my time. Just drops him. Waylon's like, back the fuck up, you asshole, and just lights him up. Awesome. But everyone else kind of gets like plastered onto the wall and turned into alien goo. And I love when Lex takes on an alien and the Predator's like, respect. He marks her, and like they like he gives her a kit. That's hilarious. He like gives her a shield and an alien spear and is like, here, let's go.
I always thought that was so cute.
That's awesome, because especially in all the Predator movies, they kill everybody. Like, there's no, well, a bit in 3, but that is over really fast. But yeah, to see the Predator, like a juvenile Predator, realize like, I'm not getting out of here alone. I need backup, and my bros are dead, so you're it. Like, to Predator, and I'm not trying to be disparaging here, but I want to say, like, in the context of Predator world, this is essentially teaming up with a cow. Because they're here for cattle. They're here to be the alien's host.
Yeah.
So he's teaming up with a cow here. It's funny to think about it like that. And yeah, they waste. It's a PG-13 movie, so they get one fuck, and in my opinion, they waste it.
Yeah.
I hope it kills every fucking one of them.
That's
Not
it.
necessary.
That's it.
Especially when they set up the "you're one ugly motherfucker" line from Predator 1 and 2. Like, they were gonna do that, and they didn't. What a waste.
Yeah, because that would have been perfect.
So Predator, this is the first time we see the Predator use the bomb for something other than suicide. It was in 1 and 2, like, he's like, I'm out. It's funny, in part 2, he tries to do it on the side of a building, and Danny Glover's like, nope, and breaks the bomb, and Predator's like, what do I do now? But in this one, he's like, I'm just chucks it into the alien den. I love that. They go up that like super slide, and yeah. The more I'm talking about this, the more I enjoy this movie.
Really?
I do. I enjoy it. Oh.
Good. Yeah, so I think there are silly moments, like, does that super slide really go that fast? What is gonna happen when she got left behind by the predators? She's just gonna live there, eat the penguins, maybe.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of holes.
But it's okay. We like it, that's all that matters.
One thing that's always bothered me in the Predator franchise is the consistency of the bomb. Because in Predator 1, it's like, it's big, but it wipes out a section of the jungle, but it's not, most of the trees are still standing. And then in the Alien versus Predator, this is like a nuclear device that wiped out an entire culture. So how big is this bomb?
Maybe it was the time travel that you mentioned earlier. They brought back some more advanced predators to go back to Earth. I don't know. But yeah.
I'll take it. So when they get to the surface, Predator takes off his mask and is like, so this is what we're working with. You good with this? And she's like, respect. And he marks her. And there's that scene where the queen pops out and it zooms onto the Predator's face, and he is fucking terrified. I only noticed that last night, but it zooms in on his eyes and he's like, fuck, I didn't prepare for this. This is not in the manual.
That's hard.
They hold their own. Like they take on the queen, and Lex, gets some stabs in with the alien tail. And I love when she's pinned under the tank, and out of nowhere, the Predator, his name in the script, by the way, is Scar.
Really?
And
Cool.
because of the thing on his forehead. But he leaps into view and like does this like twist thing and just stabs the fucker in the neck.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not smile at that?
Yeah, like thinking about this movie, the way, like, how cool all these moves were and everything, I'm like, how could those fans be that upset? Like, how can they be like super upset with it?
Yeah, but I get where they're coming from, because like, look, the previous year in 2003, Freddy versus Jason came out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a huge crossover for the horror community. And a lot of people were disappointed in that one too. But imagine if Freddy versus Jason had been rated PG-13.
Oh, yeah.
There would have been riots. I mean, I really like Freddy versus Jason, though. That's a fun movie. We will be doing that on the podcast at some point. But yeah, there was a crossover bit. Like, before Marvel did it, this was rare. So to get Freddy versus Jason and Alien versus Predator back to back, and for both of them to kind of suck, the horror community in the early 2000s must have just been so pissed.
Yeah. I guess I'll never understand how they felt.
Neither will I. I was 8 when those came out. I wasn't anticipating these movies. I just got to see them later.
Yeah.
And we don't have, horror these days is an interesting animal, because it used to be kind of, gore and still kind of fun. Now it's gotten like really dark. Like, horror today is incredibly depressing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're good movies, a lot of them, but it puts you in a dark headspace, and you just walk away thinking like, Jesus.
Hereditary.
Yeah. Hereditary, A Quiet Place, The Witch. Like, these movies, they fuck with you. I mean, what happened to just watching a leprechaun rip people apart?
I know, like they're really pushing it. Like, what are they trying to do here, guys? Like, I understand they're trying to push the limit and everything, but can't we just have, fun horror sometimes?
That's why I really liked Freaky. Freaky came out last year, and it was a fun horror movie. Again, we hadn't gotten one of those in a long time, so it was a horror comedy, but it was more horror. Had one of the grisliest deaths in a horror movie I've ever seen, and just lengthwise on a table saw. I'll say that.
Oh
But,
shit.
yeah.
Oh shit.
But it was fun to laugh and be like, whoa, instead of just like, silent and wide-eyed at the screen where like, a family is getting like mentally just ripped apart. Like I like those movies too, but I like to turn my brain off sometimes with horror, and Freaky let me do that, and that was fun.
Damn. Yeah, I've never seen Freaky, so that's why I don't know about that.
Well, it's coming out soon on DVD, and I plan on buying it, which means it'll go in the Voodoo, which means you get to watch
I can see it.
So back to Predator and Alien. Oh, I'm sorry. Alien and Predator. Yeah, gotta be consistent. He gets stabbed a couple times. And I mean, that guy's resilient. That dude's strong. And they end up chucking it into the ocean with the water tank. They never seem to kill these queens. They just kind of trap them somewhere. Ripley launches it into space. Lex throws it on the bottom of the ocean. Like, these fuckers never die. They just leave.
Yeah, which means it's still out there on Earth right now.
Oh, yeah. He's coming back. She's coming back. So the first thing I thought of when after Predator dies and then all the Predators standing there uncloak their camouflage and are like, behold. One thing I was thinking was, how long have they been standing there? Did they just watch this? Or they're like, Scar's got it good. He's doing a good job. Let's not interfere with this one.
Oh yeah, they're like, wait, no, he's got it. He's got this. Come on, kid.
Got to do this on his own. I love that, and I would love if, like, in his Predator language, he's screaming like, "Help me! Oh, please, God, help me!" They're just like, he's got this on his own. That'd be fun. But yeah, I think the guy like in the robe is like the king or the ambassador or something. I mean, he's in a robe, so he's probably important. We've never seen another Predator in a robe. They're always wearing battle armor. So if this guy's in a robe, he's probably somebody he's important.
Yeah.
And he looks at Lex like, huh, didn't see that coming. They take Scar away, and he's like, well, I guess you can have this. Like, he did not come prepared with a prize. He was like, here, you can have this.
I like. She just looks at it like, okay, like it's cool. It's pretty cool. But now.
Well, it's been a big day for Lex.
Yeah.
I mean, A, new pyramid culture completely rewritten. B, 2 different kinds of aliens exist. C, everyone she's just met has died a very gruesome death. And D, she just destroyed their queen and fought with one of these things. And now, I mean, how do you process all that? It's been like 4 hours.
Yeah, like how much therapy is she gonna need?
If she can even get back to the ship before hypothermia sets in.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she doesn't even have a jacket anymore. It's Antarctica. Like, I give her 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, she's not making it out of there alive. Like, they could have given her a ride back. That would have been nice. A coat, something. His helmet, give him that. Like, here, this will protect your face for a bit. I don't know. I just feel like they don't give a fuck about humanity. They're just like, you know what? Here, take this. Fine, you have the mark, but I'm not helping you.
Yeah, poor chick.
Yeah.
Is she's like considered a cow, kind of like you said.
The predators, yeah. I mean, the whole reason humanity exists to them is A, to hunt the big ones, and B, to let the aliens have the rest. They exist to provide the hunt. That is mankind's only function for the predators. So the fact that one of them like stood up to the aliens, killed a few, and fought alongside one of their own, that's big.
So, like, if she knew that she wouldn't be able to survive, why did she keep trying to kill? I guess, yeah, because she wanted to save the Earth, right? Like, in case she didn't want it to, like, kill Earth.
Yeah, Sebastian and her were like, we cannot let these things get to the populated areas or all will be lost.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because the upcoming Alien show is exactly that. The aliens get to Earth, they get into the populated areas. So I'm excited for that. Because I thought when Disney bought Fox that they were killing the Alien franchise, but nope, they've got plans.
When does it come out?
It's in very early stages, so it does not yet have a release date. But it's going to be on FX, which means they can go like as far as they want to go.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's going to rock. So with Lex likely on her way to a very slow frozen death, and Predators fucking off back to Pretoria, wherever they're from, we get that one last shot of Scar in front of the window. And the reason they didn't pick up the other two Predators is because this is the only one who fought and killed an alien, which means he became a full-blooded Predator. So the other two, they don't give a fuck. They're like, they're dead to us.
Oh,
but
wow.
This one's special because he is a man now. But we get that shot of the fucking alien coming out of him, and it opens its mouth and it's got the mandibles. And not gonna lie, when I first saw that, I was like, that's awesome. Red alien for the win. And we all know where that went.
But, like, how couldn't they have killed the alien, like, with their, like, so they didn't notice it coming out and they noticed it later when it was on the ship? Because I never saw Requiem because I don't think it's, like, worth seeing, but
Okay. Interesting. We're gonna have a talk about that in a minute here. So, well, at the end of Alien versus Predator, you can see them like drop him there and then leave the room.
yeah.
And this thing, because I get the vibe that in part 2, it's implied that this thing has the reproducing capabilities of the queen combined with the intelligence and predatory instinct of a predator. So this thing is incredibly dangerous, and it wipes out that ship pretty damn fast. Like it goes full grown like within an hour and kills everybody.
Wow.
And it's yeah. Requiem started out really cool, but then it started focusing on teenagers and their dumbass problems and like, I'm in love with my best friend, but she's dating an asshole. I don't give a fuck. I'm here to see predators and aliens. Why do they always do that?
Yeah, what the hell?
Ugh. I don't even remember anybody's name in that movie. I remember that dumbass subplot because I was like, are we really spending time on this?
I just remember people saying, I can't see a goddamn thing in this movie because
the lighting is the worst. The whole like half the movie is at night with like no extra, I think in the rain too, with no extra lighting. You can't see shit. So here's some Filmgazm facts about Alien versus Predator. Number 1, in an interview, director Paul W.S. Anderson said that Arnold Schwarzenegger offered to reprise his role as Dutch Schaefer from Predator at the end of this movie as a cameo, but only if he lost the election for California governor. Schwarzenegger famously won, so he did not appear in the movie. That's awesome. I love that. To have those kind of decisions, like I will only be Dutch again if I lose the governor election. Like I would love to have those problems.
Yeah, he probably knew he was gonna win, so he was like, I'm not doing that.
How would that even work? Like, does he come out of the Predator ship and is like, here's your ceremonial sword. Now I will walk with you in the frozen world. Like, it wouldn't make any sense. He just shows up with a cigar and is like, good work.
I mean, maybe he could have showed up as a cameo, like, well, you said like in one of the second one, there was like a trophy case. Maybe do they have screens on their ship? Like, They like maybe they could have showed a video of him. Like I don't know. Yeah, how would that
Congratulations, you
work?
won the Predator challenge. Here's your prize. To play again, press 5. Like, oh my God.
Dutch, yeah.
I would love that. In Predator 2, they talk about Dutch because he came back to the world and was like, my crew was murdered by an alien. And they're like, the fuck?
Yeah.
And he gets blacklisted and like kicked out of the military and takes on Congress and is like, these things are real. And the CIA open a file on them and it's revealed they've known about these things the whole time and they're trying to capture one. It's interesting. But I don't see Arnold's cameo making any sense.
Yeah, no. He made a good choice.
Yeah. It happened again with The Predator, the newer one. They offered him a cameo at the end and he said no because he thought the script was lousy. And he was right.
You saw that one too?
I've seen all of them because I have hope.
Okay, well, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you're like me with the alien movies. You're gonna see them, even even if it could be bad.
Yeah, The Predator was so disappointing. I was in the theater just like really bummed out. And I was working at Draft House at the time, so it was free, thank God. But I talked to Austin afterwards and he was like, how was it? And I'm like, it sucked. And he's like, oh, he was deflated. I remember that. And it was just, yeah, it had its moments. Like there were a lot of cool ideas. It ripped off the big Predator thing from part 3. It just, the whole government thing from part 2 and the soldier thing from part 1. Actually, you know what? It just was a lousy plagiarist thing. It just ripped off all the good parts of the first 3. Son of a bitch, I'm just now realizing that.
Yeah. Well, that's why you should be an Alien fan, because like even though
Don't get me wrong, I am a massive Alien fan. It's just Predator is like a little bit above it.
Oh, okay.
A little bit. Like if every movie in the world is wiped out except for Alien and Predator, I'm gonna watch Predator first.
Connor.
But I will still watch Alien.
Okay.
Alien's a 9, Predator's a 10.
Okay.
Watching that franchise will make you a goddamn sexual Tyrannosaurus, just like Jesse Ventura. Oh, I love that line so much. So fucking stupid. Number 2, Ridley Scott, director of Alien, Prometheus, and Alien Covenant, hated this film. Hated Alien versus Predator. Thought it was the stupidest idea in the world and said, why are you doing this? James Cameron, director of Aliens, he enjoyed it.
Really?
He said, this is the 3rd best Alien movie. And looking at everything, yeah, it is the 3rd best Alien movie. Even with the new one.
I'm on, like, if Cameron thought of it as like, if he said it in like this is a super enjoyable third Alien movie, I'm on his side. But if they mean like as a good movie, like a good Alien movie, thought out movie, I'd be on Ridley's side. So I'm on both sides.
This is actually an interesting question to bring up. Do you consider this to be more of an Alien movie or more of a Predator movie?
Oh. Huh. I'd say more of a Predator, because the Predator is like the main dude. You're trying to get on his side, so the Predator.
And I would consider Requiem to be way more of an Alien movie.
Oh, really?
But not in a good way. I'm going to spoil the hell out of that movie for you today because I just need you to understand how fucking stupid it is.
Good. I would love to hear it.
And number 3, I talked about this already. With the filming of this movie, Lance Henriksen became the 2nd actor to be killed by an alien, Predator, and a Terminator. Bill Paxton was the first. And yeah, I always thought it was just Bill Paxton. It never occurred to me Lance Henriksen. I think because I forgot he was killed in Terminator.
Yeah, because isn't he, I guess he's in that movie for like halfway, right?
When the Terminator attacks the police station, he gets gunned down.
Yeah, I think it's just the way he died. He like wasn't killed in a very cool way, so like you don't really remember it as well. So you don't think, oh, he was killed by
Yeah.
the Terminator too. You just think he got shot, like
When
the other.
especially when you look at the other two deaths. I mean, Aliens, he's ripped in half by the Queen, and then AVP, he's stabbed in the back or stabbed in the chest by the Predator. So you're not going to forget that. But
Yeah.
the Terminator death, I agree, is really unceremonious. Bill Paxton, though, all three are fucking awesome. Terminator, he's one of the gang guys at the beginning who gets killed by Naked Arnold. Nice night for a walk, that whole bit.
Mhm.
Predator 2, he faces the Predator on a subway and like fires at him. It's a badass scene. And then Aliens, of course, game over, man, and gets dragged to the fucking floor. I love Bill. I'll miss Bill Paxton. So AVP had one sequel, 2007's Aliens versus Predator Requiem. And I guarantee you the directors did not know what the fuck Requiem meant. They just thought it was a cool word.
Yeah, I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
It's like an epilogue for like somebody's death, like remembering them, which means the fuck does that mean in this movie?
Yeah, what?
Let me confirm that so I don't just completely look like an asshole.
Requiem.
An act or token of remembrance. Yep. In other words, nothing to do with Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
So, following the birth of the Pred Alien, that doesn't really roll off the tongue. I would have called it the Pralien, but I guess that makes it sound like a nut. The creature takes down the Predator ship, which crashes in the woods outside of Colorado town, releasing face huggers into the human populace because the Predators had face huggers in jars and whatnot. And they all get out there. They get like a little boy, and this thing bursts out of like a 8-year-old boy.
Oh my God.
They went uncomfortable bad for that. So
that sounds awful. Like, is this one of those movies where you would feel sick? Like,
yes.
I mean, yes.
In fact, there's something I'm going to talk about in a second here that haunts me to this day.
Oh my God.
So with this happening, a lone predator, that it's implied that it's their ruler. I think it is. He arrives from their home world to do some damage control, hunt the Pred alien, take care of business. So on paper, this sounds fantastic. This sounds like an awesome movie. But by God, was it terrible. All of the human characters are annoying and pointless. The lighting is so bad that you can't see anything. This is an actual line in the movie. So our main hero, I guess, is some douchey teenager who's a pizza delivery boy. I emphasize boy. And he's delivering a pizza to the girl he has a crush on's house with her and her boyfriend and his douchey friends. And she invites him in, and the douchebag says something like, "Fuck are you doing here, asshole?" or something like that. And pizza guy looks at him and says, "Well, now I know who ordered the sausage lovers."
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then of course they beat the shit out of him outside.
Oh my God.
Yep. This is our alien movie.
Disgusting.
So the lighting is really bad. You really can't see anything. And there's a scene in a hospital with a pregnant lady that is the most disturbing, unholy shit I've ever seen in a horror movie. I will, to this day, close my eyes when I watch that. It was so horrible that I don't know how the hell they got away with it. Like, fuck.
Ooh.
So the Pred alien has the ability he doesn't need to make eggs. He can just make the chest bursters. He can make embryos.
Mm-hmm.
So he goes to a hospital, goes to the maternity ward.
Wait. Is this like a full-on alien, but it's the Pred alien, but it's like grown up?
Yeah, it's grown-up Pred alien with the abilities of the queen. So it was a queen Pred alien.
So it can just lay eggs.
Yeah, it can lay embryos. It doesn't need the face huggers.
Okay. Okay.
But in order to do this, it still needs hosts. So it goes to the maternity ward, finds a pregnant woman who's like 9 months along, clamps its jaws onto her face, and forces embryo after embryo down her throat. The alien embryos eat her baby and burst out of her stomach.
It shows this like in her stomach, like it
You don't
shows.
see it eat the baby, but you know it happened. But you do see them burst out of her pregnant belly.
Oh God, the
Yeah,
fuck.
I didn't want to see that. I do not. Oh God. Yeah, it's vicious. It's horrific, and I do not recommend this film at all.
So she's just like sitting there screaming while her baby's getting eaten by these things in her stomach.
Yeah, she's alive during all this. Yeah.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also the guy who like half the movie is dedicated to the dude, the pizza guy, hooking up with his friend who's a girl. They have like a pool thing, like at a pool party. Like they go to the swimming pool at night, and she's like, hitting on him, but she gets randomly killed by the predator's like shuriken thing. Like she's out of fucking nowhere. They're walking, and then it's just, and she gets like pinned to the wall, and it's funny as hell.
Oh my God.
And he's like, no, and then never talks about her again.
This sounds so awful. What the
It's
hell?
so bad. The two guys who did it never did anything else. They would never made another movie. They stuck to music videos, and they still do like visual effects work, but they did not direct any more movies.
What an experiment.
I saw that with my dad at the movies, and we were both like, oof, the whole time. Because I was like, this is uncomfortable. And he was like, this is a bad movie. And yeah.
Oh my God. I can't imagine how everyone in that theater felt.
I'm gonna real quick look up the name of the characters because I know it's gonna be like goofy, like mid 2000s names.
Like Brittany.
Dallas. They took that from Alien. Oh, I'm not okay with that.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Beep. Ricky, Molly, Jesse, Tim, randomly. Yeah. Ugh. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna watch this again. Just for the hell of it. Oh.
I'm like so curious. Like, when something's awful, but you want to see it. That's how I feel right now.
Well, for those of you who are also curious, both AVP films are on HBO Max. So if you want to watch them, that's where you can watch them. So let's talk a little bit about the franchises that led to this movie. Julie, you love Alien, and I think I love Predator just a little bit more.
Sigh.
Austin and I have covered Alien and Aliens on this podcast before, but we've yet to touch the Predator franchise or the lesser Alien sequels, but we will. So why do you love the Alien film so much?
Jeez. So like, I think the story is really cool. I think maybe the fact that I don't know a lot of the story for Predator, maybe that's a factor, because I definitely I don't understand why they want to hunt so much, like with aliens, that all they want to do is breed and be like, they want to just kill everything, like you can understand that. But like, I feel like with how advanced predators are, you're like, what is their true goal? Because they're like so smart and they have all this technology and everything. So like, I don't know, I'm just kind of lost in their story. But like for Alien, I'm like, they're like creatures that don't know anything but killing and reusing humans or reusing like people to make more of themselves, like a parasite. They're parasites. So I don't know, I think that's really cool, and I've never seen anything like that done in space before, space movies. So like whenever before I saw Alien, whenever I thought of an alien movie, I always thought of E.T. and I was like, how stupid is this? And then I saw Alien, I was like, this is very creative, and the fact that they're playing between these creatures and how humans are and how some people on earth are kind of crazy about these aliens, how they think of them as gods, and the perfect creature is kind of, it's relating to, like, Ridley Scott is very interested in religion and all that, and I think that's super cool too. So I think there's just a lot of thought that goes into them. So yeah.
Fair enough. The Alien franchise definitely has a connecting thread. They're all telling an ongoing story. And the same cannot be said about the Predator movies. All four of those are vastly different and not connected in the slightest. And yeah, I get that. Uh, I think the Predator franchise has more good ones. I think with Alien, it's just those first two. Alien and Aliens are awesome. 3 and 4 suck, and Prometheus and Covenant are really forgettable.
Ouch. I freaking love Prometheus and Covenant. I don't like, I agree with you with the third and fourth. They're awful. But like, I don't, I love the experimentation they did with those last movies. But yeah, they like Prometheus, I can definitely see people being like, this is boring. Like, what the heck? This isn't an alien movie, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like because I am an artist, I try to tie these things together. And maybe it's just because I'm a huge fan. I like to try and tie these things together and everything. Yeah.
Fair enough. Prometheus, I don't find it boring. I kind of do. But I do also, I just think the characters are terrible. I think the characters are so horribly written. They're supposed to be scientists, but they
Yeah.
make the dumbest decisions ever.
I know. Yeah. They're like supposed to be really smart. Yeah, that's the only things. Like, why can't you just make these characters a little smarter? Like, they have androids. How did they build these androids, but they're this stupid?
Yeah, and Covenant, all right, admittedly, I've seen Covenant one time and it was at the movies. I just haven't had the desire to go back and watch it.
That's okay.
But I had the same thoughts with the most recent Predator. I thought, like, I never want to watch this again. It's terrible. I didn't think that with Covenant. I just thought, meh. But with the Predator, I was like, fuck this. But Predator for me is I love the character of the Predator, the universe's greatest hunter. Like, he exists only to hunt, and I love that. I love that they search out creatures to hunt. Like, their whole culture revolves around honor and the blade. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially part 3. Predators had the coolest concept, and it got totally ignored. The Predators kidnap Earth's greatest warriors. They grab like a special ops guy, a Green Beret, a Mexican cartel guy, a Japanese Yakuza guy, a convicted serial killer, and a random guy you don't know what his deal is until the very end, and it's awesome. And just random like soldiers and warriors and hunters from Earth, and they put them on this game preserve planet to hunt them. But also, the predator himself is being hunted by something bigger. There's an alpha predator, and they hunt the smaller ones. The one you met in the first movie, he's a small predator. There's bigger ones. They're like 10 feet tall and they have giant mouths, and they are warring with the other predators. And the soldiers decide to team up with the little predator to fight the big predator. And it's fucking awesome. Predators is awesome. But yeah, there's things to like about both these franchises, and there's bad parts and there's great parts. Both franchises have lasted this long because they contain some of the greatest movies in pop culture history, but also some of the shittiest in pop culture history. And you just have to take the good with the bad. I consider myself a fan of both, but I do lean towards Predator more.
Yeah. So, like, do you think maybe it's because you like the characters more, or
Well, the first Predator has very memorable characters. It has a great ensemble of dudes. It's the Predator franchise is very much a dude franchise. I accept that. Whereas, Alien is very much, female driven and female led. And that's awesome. Predator is so ridiculously high on testosterone that it's impossible not to just want to flex while you watch it. It's ridiculous. And I love that. I enjoy that movie because I accept what it is. It's a ridiculous, over-the-top action thriller where a alien from outer space is hunting soldiers with enormous arms. And I'm okay with that.
Do you think it helps you embrace your, it makes you like embrace your masculinity? And then with like, for me, it helps me embrace my femininity, stuff like that.
I don't really care about masculinity. It's not really, that never really comes up for me. I more just look for, enjoyable characters, cool dialogue, awesome effects, great music. And Arnold, and that dude can bring charisma to any movie. Like his worst movie is still fun to watch. Like it's crazy. So yeah, but I do think that both those franchises do have a lot to offer in those arenas for different people. And I can see why people would latch on to both those for those reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool, like seeing Ripley like being reused, because we all know that she's the coolest female to play in those alien movies. Like they don't even want to bring in a different girl character just because they know she's the coolest. So I think that's pretty cool.
I'm glad Dutch did not show up in Predator 2. They asked him to do Predator 2. And he said no, because he had already signed on for Terminator 2. So sometimes the universe gives exactly what it's supposed to give.
Right. Yeah. Terminator 2. Oh my God. That was such a good movie. That was, yeah. I don't know if I told anyone this on the podcast, but that was my first Terminator movie that I saw. And I love it to this day.
I don't, to me, like I would kill to watch a Terminator versus Predator movie. I mean, that would be awesome. It goes to Earth to hunt. It thinks it killed a human, and then the human turns around. I want to see the Predator be like, what? What is this? Like, rock. This was fun.
I think with the robot, it wouldn't be a challenge. But with that melty dude, it would. Like, how is he going to deal with that?
I would love to see the Predator invade Earth during Skynet's rule, where it's just robots and the Resistance. And the Predator shows up and he's like, what happened here? This was my favorite hunting ground, and now it's all paved over like a fucking parking lot. So I give Alien versus Predator a 7. It's not bad, but I think it really could have benefited from an R rating and some stronger characters.
I'm on the same page. I also give it a 7. It could have done a lot better. I'm really thankful it was PG-13, but like I feel like if you're gonna make it PG-13, you could have done better. I feel like even though it was PG-13, they could have done better with it still.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it's super enjoyable. I admire it. Like if I like decide to watch the entire like Predator and Alien thing like all together in a marathon, I would include it. Obviously not Requiem unless I was really like really, really like wanting to see everything. But yeah.
See, I'm a completionist. When I'm doing a marathon, I can't leave anything out. I watch the bad movies too.
Dang.
Yep. This was awesome. Thanks for listening, guys. And thanks for joining me today, Julie.
Of course.
Next week, we go back to Josh with his pick, the 1985 rock and roll punk zombie comedy, The Return of the Living Dead. Ironically directed by Dan O'Bannon, writer of Alien. I haven't seen The Return of the Living Dead yet, but Josh assures me it's right up my alley. It's equal parts love letter and parody of George Romero's Living Dead franchise, which amazingly we have not talked about on this podcast. 120 episodes in, we have not yet talked about Night of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead. So this ought to be very interesting. I can't wait. Don't miss our Best Picture showdown centered around 2016's Moonlight this weekend on Oscar Sunday, and another sneak preview centered around The Little Things on Monday. Until then, if a pyramid from a previously unknown civilization is suddenly unearthed in Antarctica, it's probably best if we just ignore it and hope it goes away. See you next Wednesday. Keep watching movies.